Okay, this video is for our lesson 4.4. Please make sure that you've picked up all the papers that were by the door. Should just be assignment 4.4. How about 4.3, your stamp sheet, your calculator, and your notes? We are about to check A4.3. So sub, please pause the video right now. If anyone needs a stamp for 4.3, now is your time to alert the sub. If you don't do it today, you don't get one today. So pause now. All right, the key. On number 1, if you put -3 over 1, that's okay as well. It's the same thing. It's decreasing, so it's negative. 2 is decreasing, so it's negative. We go down 2 to the right 5. Problem 3, it's increasing. We go up 1 over 3. 4, we go up 5 over 1. So if you did 5 over 1, that's fine. Problem 5, we go down 2 to the right 3, so -2 over 3. And then 6 is a vertical undefined line, so it's undefined on problem 6. Problem 7 is decreasing, so we can immediately mark out B and D. And then if you picked C, you didn't do what we talked about yesterday in class. Sorry, I have no idea what just happened. For this one, remember we talked about pick a point and see if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my line is not out here. So instead, if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4, my line is there. So that's why it's -5 over 4 and not C. On problem B, it's increasing, so we immediately mark those two out. It goes up 4 to the right 1. It does not go up 1 over 4. My line is not there, so that's why it is not D. 9 and 10, you were supposed to find the slope by hand. If you put it into stat edit, you should have gotten 3/8. If you did it by hand, -1 minus -4, we slash and dash. 5 minus -3. So if you got 3 halves or 5 halves, it's because you did not slash and dash. Remember, when you have -1 minus -4, you can put this into your calculator just like we wrote it. So we had, sorry, I already forgot. -1 minus -4. And that would give us 3. So if you did not get that answer, first please make sure you did minus minus. If you still did not get that answer, then make sure you put it into your calculator. On 10, we have a 0 on the bottom. Remember, 0 on the bottom is not okay. That's a big no, so it's undefined. Problem 11, which does not show this, is answer C. And then 12 is tricky. On 12, if you go down 2, you're not going down 2 in relationship to the actual units. We're going down 2 lines, but we're actually going down 500 feet. And then when we go over 4, it's 4 lines, but it's from 0 to 60 seconds. When they made the key, they went all the way down and all the way over. If you do -500 divided by 60, you still get about 8.3, which is why it's 8. If you chose C, it's because you went down 1 over 2 or down 2 over 4 and reduced it, but you did not look at your actual units. So, a couple quick reminders, 5 bonus points on the next test if you have all your homework, notes, and review. Pep rally scheduled today. Quiz 4 is next Tuesday, and then test 4 is next Friday. Our objective for today is to identify attributes of linear functions and write equations in slope-intercept form when given a graph. So, at this time, you need to make sure you have your notes out to 4.4. If we need to get that settled, sub, please pause the video now. Problem 1 on the bell work, ask us what is the range of 2x squared minus 4 if the domain is -2, 4, and 7. So I've set these up for you. Also remember, you can put this into y1 and look at your table for these. If we do them by hand, -2 squared is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 squared is 16, 16 times 2 is 32, 32 minus 4 is 28. And 7 squared is 49, 49 times 2 is 98, 98 minus 4 is 94. So that would be our range. And then another review, Carly notices that her height is half of her father's. Which equation best represents this? So height is means equals half Of means multiply. Father would be F. So 1/2 times F would be A. Now for the new stuff. Today we are talking about the equations of lines. You guys have done this a little bit in 8th grade, so if you remember, that's great. But y is your dependent because it's on the outside. X is your independent because it's on the inside. M is what we talked about yesterday. M is that slope, the steepness of the line, and your slope and X go together. Slope, M and X are in a relationship. You can always, always, always find them together. And then B is like the little brother who likes to tag along. B tells us where we are going to start on our y-axis. So for example 1, I've already done it for you, so on your notes just make sure you're writing anything else that you want to down. They gave us a table, and I plotted this table onto our graph. I put my points here, 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 and here, and here. When I plotted those points, I can see my y-intercept is usually the easiest thing to see because it's where it crosses the y-axis. So my b value is where we start on the y-axis. Now this starts down at -1, so my y-intercept is down at -1. My rate of change I can see from these points. Ooh, sorry about that. From these points, if I go nice point to nice point, I'm going up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So up 1 over 6 is why that is my slope. My x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So y-intercept is where it crosses y. X-intercept is where it crosses x. You might want to be writing this down. It crosses y at a -1. And then it crosses my x at 6. Now your x-intercept is something you need to be able to see and recognize, but it is not something that goes into your equation. And then this graph is increasing because it's going up. If we were to put our little bodies on it and ride the line, we'd be going up. So to write my equation of the line, my rate of change, my slope and x always go together. And then my b value over here is a -1, where it starts on that y-axis. So if I were to graph this, I would start down at -1 and then go up 1 over 6. So let's look on the back. We're going to do this one together. This problem gives us our equation, so let's start by graphing it. When I graph, I start here on the y-axis. I start at 4. So 4 is positive, so I'm going to go up and start at 4 on the y-axis. Now I'm given my slope, -2 over 5. Yesterday you just had to be able to identify it. Today we're graphing it. Remember, a negative means we're going to go down, and then we always go to the right. So down 2 to the right 5. So I'm starting at 4. I go down 2 to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put my point there. Again, down 2 to the right 5. And I put another point there. Now, you don't have to do these squigglies. If you want to help you count, then that's fine. Also, remember, you can go the other way. If you go the other way, we would go up and to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my line is a little bit off up at the top. So that's better. Okay, so my table I need to fill in. At -10, I have the point up here at 8. At -5, I have a point at 6. 0 starts at 4. 5 is at 2, and 10 is at 0. My slope was given to me. That slope is with x, so slope and x are the bestest of friends. You cannot separate them. My y-intercept, you can put 4 or you can put the point 0, 4. You need to be able to recognize it both ways. So 4 is what you get from your equation. But you can also put 0, 4 as the point. My x-intercept is at 10, or the point 10, 0. So remember, y-intercept is where x equals 0, x-intercept is where y equals 0. And then this graph has a negative slope, so it would be decreasing. So again, we took our equation, we plotted our y point, our b value, we used our slope to continue plotting, and then filled in our table and all the missing information. This problem has given us 3 points, and I filled in those 3 points that we know from our table. So we have the point -1, -7, 0, -4, and 1, -1. To find my slope, I'm going to count. I go up 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. So my slope would be 3 over 1, which is just, or is the same as 3. So I'm going to use my slope to continue these points. I go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, and I have a point at 2, 2. So I'm going to put that on my table. And then I can also go the opposite way, go down 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. So we went up 3, right 1, or down and to the left. Remember, if you do the other way, you have to go the complete opposite. But I now have the point -2, -10. My y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis at -4. We can do the point 0, -4. We're going to skip the x-intercept because it's not pretty. You can see when I draw my line, it crosses somewhere between 1 and 2. My slope, now that I've drawn it, or you can look at, it's a +3, so it must be increasing. So when I write my equation, y equals, it's an equation, so you always need an equal sign, 3x minus 4. Note, I color-coded them for you so you can see where those colors go. The slope always goes with x. Slope and x are the best of friends, and then your y-intercept follows after like a little brother, b for brother. Okay, so you have the rest of class to work on your assignment. You must use this time on your assignment. We're not worrying about this. Remember to ask questions. Do not pack up until 2 minutes before the bell, or if you finish early, you may pack up and sit quietly. Now, just to talk through your assignment really quickly. Problems 1 and 2 are already graphed for you, so you're filling in the table, your slope. Beginning is the same thing as where does it cross the y-axis, which is your y-intercept. So beginning and y-intercept, these should be the same. Okay. And then problem 3 is just a quick review, just to review the review. Remember, what's on the inside is x. Whatever left letter is given to you is the equation that you need to use. So this one we would use the g function. Then on the back, 4 and 5 give you an equation and ask you to use your calculator to fill in the table. So we will put these in y equals like we did on when we were finding values. So just a quick review for that. On your calculator, y equals is on the top left. And then you would plug in whatever. So we have 5/3 x minus 4. And then when you click the table button, you can use this to fill in that table. Whatever they are asking you for is what you need to write down. So for example, when x is 3, y is 1. And I would fill in the rest of the table. From there, you can graph using your table, plot those points and put your line together, or you can use your equation to graph. I don't really care, but use one of them well. 6 is a review like problem 3 was, but they're just taking it a step further, so make sure you write out as much as you can. And then problem 7 is a question about slope on a graph. Again, this is a tricky one because your lines do not just equal 1, they equal different values, so make sure you're looking at the value. And then these are optional. So you should have 20-30 minutes to work out 7 problems. 7 problems. Now, I want you to attempt problem 6, but if you get it wrong, that's fine. Don't stress over it. Make sure you understand the new stuff. Work on 3 and 6, but if you don't get them perfectly right, that's okay. At least try something, okay? At least try something. So 1 and 4, or 1 and 2, we're filling in the table and identifying all of our stuff. 3 is review. 4 and 5, we're using y equals on our calculator to fill in the table and then finding all that stuff. 6 is review. 7, we are talking about a slope problem, and then 8 and 9 are optional. I am expecting you to work during this time. I am expecting you to use this time to work on this assignment. Remember to ask questions. Talk with the people around you at your table to try to figure out what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, are we getting the same answers? Again, I'm expecting you to work, and the sub is going to write down your name if you are not, and we're going to have a very not nice conversation on Monday. So finish your assignment so you don't have homework over the weekend, and enjoy the pep rally.